Well, hello, good evening. If you're in an evening time zone, if you're watching live, it's the 29th of April, 2026, 9 o'clock East Coast time. But hello, replay crowd. Welcome to you. Pam Donnelly has joined us, and three other people who have not signed in. Do not despise small beginnings, says the good book. And once again, the nose is itching. Well, here's Karen Phillips. Yeah, we don't know anything about you, Karen, but you are very loyal, and here you are. Hi, Jack and family. Nice to have you here. Well, I'm soliciting your experiences tonight. When did you meet? When did you encounter Bob Joyce, Pastor Bob Joyce, for the first time? I've said many times that I encountered him in early 2018. I was a YouTube creator in search of a signature topic. Carlton Pearson, who we had some success with, wasn't really generating an interest anymore. And so I needed to find something else. Carlton Pearson has since died, and probably died renouncing his faith in Christ, because that's what he was saying until he stopped making videos and was basically on his deathbed. Elaine Peterson from Washington, welcome, welcome, welcome to you. Neo's here. And Neo is just rebellious. He's a rebellious soul. You can't talk any reason into him. Oh, well. Nancy DeMarco. Hello, Jack and friends. So I won't read your comments, Neo, unless they're good. Hi, Jack. I'm hanging out in Chicago this weekend. Really? You really get around, huh? Chicago now. Do you mind telling us what brought me to you, or you to me, or brought you to Chicago? I'm distracted because I'm reading. Apparently, Neil never heard what I just said. Forget it. I'm not going to repeat it. Carol Cook is here. Hi, Jack and everyone. Hope everyone is doing okay. Helen McDonald from Australia. Hi to you. And again, I'm not going to read your comments unless they're good, Neil. That's just the deal. If you're just going to begin every show with, I'm getting ads, well, then I'll just ignore such comments. Do you understand me? Let's see here. I don't know what you're saying, Neil. I really don't. You want to start off on a negative note? You think that's good broadcasting? You remind me of somebody else from, I don't know, San Diego. So what's been going on with you, Nancy DeMarco? I found the American Trilogy video in Denton's in the spring of 2023. That was your first time that you saw Pastor Bob? Knew from that moment on. What did you know, Nancy? My kids bring me to Chicago. Okay, I see. And you popped up in my YouTube feed when I was looking into Bob Joyce. That's how I found you. Interesting. Yes, Jack, then I found you, huh? Yeah, I knew pretty quick that I had found something here with this topic, and we have hundreds of videos that tell the story of Pastor Bob, what we know so far. But, ultimately, the story is in his hands these days. And where he decides to take his ministry. Are there exciting things coming up? Yes. Can I tell you about them right now? No. Will it be very long before I can tell you? Not too long. Not too long. But down the road, I think things will pick up a little bit. I think things will pick up, but I'm sworn to secrecy, and I totally understand that. Neil, you are entitled to your opinion. You are not going to, you'll be, the first thing you'll say next time will be, I got ads. That'll be how you'll open the program. What can I tell you? To you, that's good. That's a good way to start. So it's the world of Neil. Same here, Jack. I found you when I was searching Pastor Bob, but enjoy all your topics. Well, yeah, it wasn't you that chastised me for talking about politics. It was the other person from Australia, right? And there are things going on, but I don't want to. I don't want to turn this into a political show. Hey, Todd Bradshaw, the Tennessee Titan is here. Good evening, Jack. Hello, all. Todd from the great state of Tennessee. Has it been unusually cool this spring in your state? We had some warm weather, but it came and went, and I think we'll be in the mid 40s tonight. And I think the upper 30s on Friday night. There's a concert here that I thought Polka Sean might go to. Polka Sean and me at the big polka gala in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I thought he likes this group called the Bunker Boys. You can find them right here on YouTube, the Bunker Boys. And Frankie from the Jimmy Sturr Orchestra is, when he's available, when there's not a conflicting gig with Jimmy, he's the fiddle player for the Bunker Boys. So it's always enjoyable to go and see them. And I see they're doing an outdoor gig Friday night, but as fate would have it, the weather's not really going to cooperate. So I don't know. Do you want to go to the trouble of having it and not getting a good turnout, or do you want to wait till it gets a little bit warmer? At some point, it won't be in the 30s anymore, but you just don't know. And I think this is true in a lot of places, that the weather is different. So the climate change people say, see, we told you, but you didn't want to listen. But it's not really the kind of climate change that Al Gore was peddling for so many years, saying that the oceans would be a bubbling and the glaciers would be a melting and all that. No, it's nothing like Al Gore said. So, but changeable weather, yes. Can we do anything about it? No, not really. Oh, we got to just drive electric cars. Well, people didn't want that, and it wouldn't be enough anyway. First from you, Jack. Knew it for sure years ago, hearing an album of Bob JOYCE on YouTube sounding identical to Elvis. I know, as others do, Bob is Elvis. From the mouth of Carol Cook, or the pen of Carol Cook. Hi, Miles Wright. How are you? Hi, Jack and all and everyone. Hello to you and Judy Wright. Rita, lovely Rita Maid. Hi, Jack and all. What about that kiss from Tipper? Tipper Gore? I only know one Tipper. What about that kiss from Tipper? Who's Tipper? There's only Tipper Gore, right? Oh, yeah, because I was talking about her husband. Is Tipper Gore even around anymore? I don't know. I hear nothing about Tipper Gore these days. Everybody else gets talked about a little bit from the past, but Tipper? No, not really. Um, M. Staten? That could be David, right? Hi, Jack. Hey, what's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing? It's 38 watching now and 15 likes. Nothing really to like here so far, I have to admit. I said to myself, "Gee, it's a frightening place to be in between, because you don't want to pull the wool over people's eyes and just try to sound prolific when you don't have anything really prolific to say. You know that you got to kind of keep it light because more people like it light than like it, you know, heavily political, let's say. Our nation is so divided. I've never seen anything like this. There's a party called the Democratic Party where I've never seen such animosity, such unprofessional speech. I know Trump can get angry and say things too. I get that. But I mean, his heart is in the right place. Their heart isn't just destroying the whole country. You don't get any lower, in my opinion, than someone like Hakeem Jeffries. You don't get much lower than that. To be in the position that he is and to be just running his mouth like he's some kind of thug from the I was going to say East Chicago. Damn it, you know. He's not qualified for that job. Now, in any other job, there's a process to get people out. To get someone like him out of the position because he's doing such an awful job and bringing such shame to the office of minority speaker, to get him out, the process you have to go through, the amount of votes you have to get, he can just continue to destroy like he's holding a meat cleaver. Before you get him out, he'll destroy a lot more. They're finally, I think, finding a way through reconciliation where they can start paying the uh, the Secret Service again. 75 days or something like that with no paycheck. Can you believe this? Oh, I don't ever remember in my life. If you're my age or somewhere near my age, you age. Did I say age? You you never saw this kind of blatant thuggery and unqualified people that were put in there basically by low IQ people. I'll say it. Both all colors too, all colors, low IQ people that just want to get as much out of the government as they can, you know. And then there are valid points that people make about health insurance being affordable. And when people can't afford it at all, I do believe in Medicaid for those people, because everyone that walks into a hospital should be fully treated, not just stabilized and thrown out the door. Um, Back when I was a little kid, we would go to Lloyd's, which was the legendary store, the Walmart before there was a Walmart. And there'd be a gentleman out there with a card table and a picture of his kid who needed a serious operation, whether it be brain surgery or some kind of transplant or something. And he was saying that if he didn't find a way to get this money, they would let the kid die. And I thought, you can't do that in the United States of America. You can't do that. You can't take senior citizens that are living on, in some cases, just Social Security, and say they got to pay $300 for an MRI. That's their copay, or $45 to see a doctor. They don't have that. They don't have that, and that shouldn't happen in America. That shouldn't happen. Uh, it used to be that an employer could just decide not to offer health insurance. I'm not saying that has totally gone away, uh, but they just didn't offer it. You could be working your butt off 60 hours a week and have no health insurance. And of course, with the rising costs, Trump has done some things about drug prescriptions, uh, but there needs to be more done. We just spent, I think the figure given, I think Pete Hedzik used this figure. We have just spent $300 billion on the Ukraine. I was going to say Iran. I don't think we're quite up there yet for that, but it's getting there. $300 billion for the Ukraine. What did we get out of that? What did they really get out of it? Well, some of them robbed the money back in the other administration's uh, tenure, and they opened businesses with it. They lined their pockets with U.S. money. So now $300 billion later, and all the urgency from Zelensky we used to hear, we don't hear anymore, because he knows he's not getting that kind of money. We know he's not a good steward, and we know that it's not an easy fix. But Trump and Putin talked today, and Putin was saying some things about how to end the war in Ukraine. We don't know too much about that. 47 years of dealing with the darkness of Iran. So these are really the things on my heart tonight. I don't have much to say about Pastor Bob Joyce, but I do want to remind you of something. Let's see here. Tickets still available. This is your opportunity. There are those of you who watch, some of you watching from far away, and you would love to see Pastor Bob Joyce in concert. Well, your opportunity is coming up on May 22nd. Pastor Bob will have a charity event on Friday evening, May 22nd, 2026, to benefit the ABC FM Arkansas Baptist Church and Family Ministries at the First Baptist Church of Cabot, Arkansas. More details and ticket purchases can be found in the Facebook post at ABCFM Benefit Concert with Pastor Bob Joyce. So if you go to bobjoyce.org, you can just click on that. It's a link. You can click on that. The way to get the ticket seems to change, but ABCFM Benefit Concert with Pastor Bob Joyce. More details and ticket purchases, just go to bobjoyce.org and click on that, and I think that will bring you to what you want to have. Ticket sales have moved from DonorBox to donorbox.org to givecloud.co. But all ticket purchases before April 23rd through DonorBox are still good for the concert. Tickets purchased from April 23rd through May 22nd will be processed through Give. Am I saying that wrong? It's not Cloud? Yeah, it is Cloud, right? Yeah. Givecloud.co. Givecloud.co. The reason that you still have this opportunity, I think I can say this, is that happens to be graduation weekend. So Pastor Bob's going against that. He's very pro graduation, of course, but in other words, a lot of people in that immediate area can't go because of that. So that's an opportunity for you to get your tickets, and see a wonderful concert with Pastor Bob, May 22nd in Cabot, Arkansas, which is about 26 miles outside of Little Rock. Just checking the comments here. Elaine Peterson says, I liked Woolworths as a kid. Well, so did I. Me mom and I went all the time. It was right in downtown, right in downtown. Um, Santa didn't visit Woolworths, I don't think. He was a couple of doors down at a place called Tompkins. That's where the real Santa was. All the ones you'd see on the street ringing bells and stuff, they were just his helpers. They were just his helpers, see? So, but yeah, I liked Woolworths. I did for the luncheonette, and you know, they didn't have great merchandise as I recall, but they had that photo booth in the front of Woolworths where you could go in there and get you a reel of pictures. You had about 10 seconds between each shot to have a different pose. You could have somebody in there with you, and certainly have done that. I don't know where my little Woolworths picture is right now. I had it up before, but I'm in a sea of pictures. Ah, Bayou Girl joins us. Hello, hello, Bayou Girl. That was the thing to do, Tammy Griffin. More than once a month, we went down to Woolworths for lunch. Also, there was JJ Newberry's on the corner, what we call the square. And they also had a luncheonette, and that's where I would have the ice cream soda, usually a strawberry ice cream soda, seltzer and ice cream and strawberry flavoring of some kind. I remember that. It wasn't as good as a milkshake, but that was the thing to have a strawberry ice cream soda, or you could have a chocolate ice cream soda, of course. Jordan almonds, not ringing a bell. I can't think of any of the products really. You know, they were limited in what they had. They didn't have furniture or anything like that. Every one, well, I'll just say hi, Wendy. That would be easy. Good evening, Jack and audience friends. How is it going, Wendy? Where are you again? Where are you from again? And what's going on in your neck of the woods? I'm thinking of doing another one of the heart to heart chats just to, say the things that I wouldn't so much say here. Um, there's just there's just something real serious going on in the sense that I don't know what it's going to be like for my grandchildren that I've yet to meet. I don't know what it's going to be like for them. I don't know what this country is going to be like because the kind of people that are trying to push out the MAGA people, the people that say they hate MAGA or just hate people who stand for American values, um, they are going to win at some point unless God doesn't allow it. One sign that God is still moving is he is moving through the Supreme Court. I don't know how many of you saw that they have a ruling that's going to allow justifiable gerrymandering in states where, and I don't t- totally, in fact, I'm going to look that up, but I don't totally understand gerrymandering. But there are places that are heavily Republican populated that don't have the proper uh, representation that they should have. And the states that are trying to do some hocus pocus and change things up they don't have those same kind of numbers of strength in the because there is really no Democratic Party anymore, so it's progressives. But there's those guys that they're somewhere in the middle, that are still clinging to being Democrats. That what's his name, Gerimaldi guy who was arguing with Pete Hegseth and a few other people in the cabinet. I don't understand a guy like that. Does he not see what's happened to his own party? Does he not see it? Does he really want that to come on America? That kind of evil to just sweep through? Do we want to have a president that is completely and totally uh, anti the values that we've had? America had troubles. We went through a very racist time back in the day. So, as Clay Travis was saying, I heard some of his radio show with Buck Sexton today. He said, yes, there was a time when this country was way too racist. That's sad history, but we've come a long way, baby. But now they're trying to fix things to the point of reparations. Has nothing to do with them. Maybe their great grandfather. We just hand out a bunch of free stuff when the country is already bankrupt, um, and that's what they want. That's rather than apply themselves, they want to just grab it from people that have been uh, applying themselves for, in some case, decades. Well, thank you. Miles Wright in Taxi Cab Yellow. Thank you. 9.99. That's a real encouragement in a day where I'm just being honest. I'm not on my game. Um, Things are going to be happening, but it ain't yet. It ain't yet. And I don't that's why I'm curious about your Bob Joyce experience. When you saw him, what you think, you can say, I don't believe he's Elvis. That's fine. That's fine. Yep. It only becomes a problem when somebody comes on with an agenda to go after people that do feel he is, and they're self-appointed protectors in some cases, or they just have their opinion. I live in Seward. Well, that's right up the road for me. Seward Avenue. It's the number one place where the firemen get called in any given month. We have a scanner, but it's not a police scanner. It's just a fire. And 38 Seward Lane. It's not an avenue, it's a lane. I think it's both. I think part of it's an avenue and part of it's a lane. And the homeless shelter is there. They get a lot of calls to the homeless shelter, somebody burning something. It's sometimes stuck in the elevator. They have to do that too. They get called out a lot, but Seward Lane right up the road there. Hey, Hockey 92, welcome back. First in Valdez, then in Anchorage. So you know all about life below zero. How do you deal with Anchorage temperatures? We see these TV shows. It's not just life below zero. There was that other family. He passed away. I don't know about his wife, but he had those sons as well. All sons, as I recall. And they were trying to make it in Alaska as well. Just seems like it would be very difficult to live in those kind of temperatures. And is there a time in Anchorage when it's warm, where it's warm? Jack, I pray Jesus returns before my grandkids grow up, because the present environment is definitely upside down. Yeah, it gives you kind of a sick feeling. I don't want to be I don't want to be negative. We want to have fun here, and I will go with the flow if I see somebody going in that direction. But yeah, you know that this is going to end up with more and more violence. Look at that reporter. I'm so happy that the she was like what 20 years old, just trying to cover a story. And of course, they're screaming, cursing at her. And then there's like three from the same family, and the father, who's like I don't know, 50, 75 pounds heavier, pushes her to the ground. Guess what? Federal charges for that Pepperidge Farm Morano. That Pepperidge Farm Morano, and for two of his kids, too. You can't do that to a reporter. They're just trying to cover a story. But Alexa, I'm going back and forth with her name, and I follow her on Reels. Alexis McAdams said, when you're in some of these protest situations, they don't put the Fox label on the mic, but someone says, "Where do you work?" And you basically have to tell them, I work for Fox News. And she says, at that point, you might as well just fold up. She's got security. They're going to try their best to keep her protected, but they're also going to tell her, we got to move on. We got to get out of here. Because this is what you see in the XYZ generation. They want to violently stop free speech. They hate you if you don't have the same opinion that they do. What do you mean you don't want to surgically castrate an 8-year-old? If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. Hockey 92 says, Elena, I also worked in several different areas in Alaska. Really? I find that fascinating. I've never personally met anyone from Alaska. I've never had a conversation on the street with someone that was even in Alaska. So I would love to hear some of those stories about the temperatures. What's the coldest you experienced? What's the warmest you experienced in Alaska? Valdez. Is that your last name? Let's see here. The lunatic left. Yeah, Wendy, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. The violent, entitled left. So when people say, well, I think in the long run, historians will judge President Trump fairly and have some good things to say about what he did during his 2 terms as president. And I'm thinking, well, who's going to write the history? Is it going to be someone who loves America or someone who hates it? Because if it's someone who hates America, they're not going to judge him fairly at all. They're going to say, he was evil incarnate. So it's not the people that wrote the history 20, 30, 40 years ago and beyond, way back. It's not those people. It's going to be younger people. And it all depends what they think, how they were raised, how they were taught, and what they embraced. Could they tell the difference between good and evil, or did they start to refer to good as evil and evil as good? Neo's real name is Jerry Salamander. Okay. Hobdob. Hi, Jack. Hello, Hobdob. Welcome to you. Judy Wright. Judy's here as well as Miles, and hits the thanks button for $9.99. Isn't that sweet of you? On a night when I really need encouragement, because I'm really I'm really struggling at this point in terms of where to go. I know there's good stuff coming, but right now there's not much, and I'm not going to sit here and double talk you to death and make you think that I've got inside knowledge. And well, if you join my VIP room, I'll say more. And you're going to find out that it's not much of anything anyway, is my personal opinion. I don't want to be mean about that. I don't. Look at that. Miles Wright 9.99 and Judy Wright 9.99 on the thanks button. Well, thank you so much. We are closing out the month of June. June. See, I got June on my mind. I got later in the summer on my mind too. So, yeah, I'd love to hear about Alaska because I know nothing about it. If I miss saying hello to you, it wasn't intentional. So there you go. Thank you. The thanks button is right down there. I guess you press ask and then thanks, and $1, $2, $5 will get us up to a little higher number. It's the worst month in terms of the, of the Google check. I guess I'll have to put it that way. Um, in well over a year, but I knew that was going to happen because I wasn't going to do a song and dance and try to make old stuff sound new or make it sound like I've got some profound information to give you. I just can say in the big picture, I think you'll find the summer interesting. I think you will. Back down I go. The coldest was minus 59. Thank you for the Fahrenheit hockey 92. Was minus 59. Did you leave the house? I mean, you got to have what on what's over your um North Face jacket on, right? They claim that their jackets, some of their premium jackets, you can go out in that kind of temperature. The coldest was minus 59 in Fairbanks, and I think that's where the comedian on Gutfeld lives, Jamie Lissow. I think he lives in Fairbanks, even though he's divorced now. His kids are there, so he wants to still live in the Fairbanks area. But of course, he's stateside a lot. Is that how you say it when you're over there, like you were in Hawaii, going stateside? I don't know. And the warmest was probably in Anchorage during the summer. I didn't get to Fairbanks during the summer, but they could hit 90. I'm shocked. I never knew it could be 90 in Alaska. Huh. And can Sarah Palin really see your state from her back porch? I'm not sure she was telling the truth there. I must say, I saw a picture of her, fairly current picture. I forget what she was doing, but I have to say, she looks good. She looks good. Um, but there was an example of a Republican who I certainly would never vote for president. Oh, you don't like any women as president, do you? Oh, no, that's not necessarily true. I spoke very highly of the lieutenant governor of Virginia. I was so hoping she would become the governor, and look what we got instead. We got we got Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter's relative, niece and daughter. I guess you would say Johnny Winter's daughter. She looks the most like Johnny Winter. Spamberger there. Oh my goodness. That there was an example. Oh, I'm not going to vote yes for gerrymandering. And it's the first thing she did. Lies, lies, lies. Remember that song Liar by Three Dog Night? So Elaine, she has been to Seward many, many, many times, says Hockey 92. It's beautiful. And I love the what? The sea otters and the puffins. The puffins. I don't know these. I know the sea otters, of course, but the puffins? I'll have to look up a picture of a puffin. And the other thing, I really don't know what it is. Hmm. So we have 42 watching right now. Neo says he's never been to Alaska, just knows some things about it. Yeah, I only know what I see. And of course, they filmed Insomnia there with Robin Williams Al Pacino and the girl whose name, the woman whose name I always forget. I don't know. There's just certain people I can't remember them. Overall, I'm happy. I think I can remember the word sushi now. And Euphoria is the HBO Max controversial show. I haven't seen any more of that. My ears are not garbage cans, you know. My ears are not garbage cans. I had my kids in the same hospital where I was born. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard anybody say that before, Elaine. Never heard anybody say that. I was born down in what is now Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in the Bronx. Back then it was just Sloan. I've said that before. Todd Bradshaw says, I would love to live in Alaska. Really? Throw me up in Firewatch Tower on the most northern part, and you will not hear me complain. Just me and my books. And what kind of books would they be, Todd Bradshaw? Let's see. It's interesting to me. Okay. Got to close a tab or two. I got too many tabs open. Did you ever drink tab? Yuck. Oops. Okay. Let me just check that again before I make sure I got the right thing. Okay. Type that in right here. Because you're in a place, Todd, where a good part of the year it's warm, but you just can't count on when anymore. Someone I see where you got the Valdez now. The Glacier Lookout, built in the 1930s near Valdez, is a primary fire lookout experience in Alaska, offering a 360-degree view. No power and access to mountain hikes and northern lights. So Karen always wants to see the northern lights, and she ain't seen them yet. They ain't coming to this city. I keep telling her that we got to go somewhere else. They're not coming to this city. It is often accessed via helicopter and serves as a remote off-grid destination for visitors. Huh. All right. Where's my phone? I don't know. There it is. You want to be up there, Todd? Well, you could probably get satellite TV up there, but you want your books. What kind of books? I know you. I know this from our conversation. I don't think I'm violating anything if I say you mentioned the late great C.S. Lewis. Todd and I both saw the movie Shadowland, starring Anthony Hopkins, the life of C.S. Lewis. It's the fire tower right there. I never knew it existed, so I'm now learning things, see? I'm learning things. Hi, Donna. Hi, Jack and everyone. Thank you for the rose. And where did you have your kids? What city? What state? It's beautiful here in Tennessee, no doubt. I'm nestled between two mountains. I got away from the city years ago, so it's a healing place. I like hearing that. I don't feel I live in a healing place, but I don't live in a absolute light nightmare. Like I have to say, Chicago. I have to say, parts of New York City, um, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, um, Detroit, Motor City, Motown, baby. Um, so it's a healing place. You can talk to God and listen to the casual reply, the still small voice of the Holy Spirit, right? He doesn't shout. Yes, sir, that would suit me just fine. Why do you want to kill stuff, Neo? I knew you were a killer. I had you pegged. You're kind of like a Dexter type, but, well, let's face it, nobody's as good as Dexter. He's filming. He's filming. Dexter Resurrection Season 2 has uh, principal photography has begun. Let's see here. Just love Michael C. Hall. He does such a wonderful job, and the rest of the cast. I don't really miss Deb. I like her, but the character, Deb, that she was playing, I'm trying to think of her name. It's not coming to me right now. Um, but yeah, it was just potty mouth and rapid fire. And if there's one thing I just cannot stomach, I want to have the mute. I want to have, a device where I can just cut that language out. I don't want to hear the name of Jesus and then the F word and then Christ following it. That makes me feel like such a sellout that I'm watching it. So I don't miss that. I don't miss that. You know, people, what are you saying when you say something like that? Do you know if you can do that and not feel a punch to the gut like it was made by, let's say, Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier. If you don't feel that, you're not born again. You're not. I slap my own face for watching that when I hear something like that. Lane Peterson hits the Cash App for $10 for a love tip. Thank you so much, Elaine Peterson. Always faithful. I appreciate that. As is Tammy with an I in Chicago. Tammy hitting the Cash App for $25. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very nice as we close out the month of April already. I'm not sorry to see April go. I'm looking forward to May. I want to cherish these next 2 months, I don't know how it is in Australia because you're going into your cooler time, right? But I want to cherish May and June. I'm thankful to the Lord that I'm experiencing another spring, you know, with pretty good cognitive ability. You never know. Is it raining? I think it is. Pretty soon they're going to be putting a new roof on this place. June could get noisy, but now when we broadcast, they'll be done for the day. In fact, they either do the whole thing in 1 or 2 days. They do. They have an enormous crew, and it is fortunate that we have the guys next door that are they kind of hold money for Karen and what they don't use for things like the water bill and stuff. They're just better at paying these things, so she lets them. Uh, water bill and the taxes. You got to pay those things because that's another unfair thing. People in their 70s still have to pay in New York school taxes. Maybe they never had kids in their life and they're paying school taxes. Things that are just totally unfair without reason. Do you pay school taxes where you are? Do you pay school taxes in Australia? What's the deal with that? Do you pay them to your last breath or what? I'd be curious to know about that. But thank you, Elaine, and thank you, Tammy, for hitting the Cash App. You guys are terrific, and I appreciate it very much. Back to my live stream. Oh, Elaine Peterson, you have poor taste. What's blasphemy? Yeah, what I said before, I know, right? So it was most likely going to be said from the character Dexter's stepsister, who was great. I'll almost have her name. She's great, but that is just so awful to me. It's just so awful when somebody can do that, and it's like it's like they're saying the S word to them. There's no difference. I kind of lose all respect. Well, look at this. Hockey 92, who's been back. She's been away for a little while. Thank you for all you do, Jack. Tonight, I'm totally relying on you, to be honest. And look, I've already learned about the fire tower. I had no idea. And I'm trying to think of some of the other books that used to be dear to me. I do admit that I do love a good biography if it's on somebody that I really found fascinating. And I have to admit, I found Jim Baker from the PTL Club totally fascinating because, being a broadcaster and all he built and what have you, and his book, I Was Wrong. It's one of the best biographies I ever wrote. It's his prison story too, Now he's 87 years old and just rambling out there in, I guess, Branson, Missouri with his wife. Thank you so much, Hockey 92. $19.99 on the thanks button. Appreciate that so much. Like I appreciate $1 or $2. It all adds up. But thank you. That helps. And as we close out April. Let's see here. Much of Oregon is conservative, right? So how does this happen? If you're conservative, you've got to get out there and vote. The midterms are coming. They'll be here. And we've got gas prices that are high. That's a major problem because, as they like to say, those election analysts, it's the economy, stupid. It's the economy, stupid. They know Jasmine Crockett. They're not going to shed any tear for her going, or the other one that's leaving that with the cane. Al Green. How can I forget the name Al Green? Nobody cares that Al Green is going, he won't be able to stand up and shake his cane at the president anymore. Oh, jeez. Much of my family was born in different states of mind, says Neil. Well, that's a good thing that you don't do that, Elaine, because I'd have to say you have to go back to square one because we want to make sure, you're it used to be bad for me when I was driving. You ever notice that when you're driving, everybody else is an idiot? You're the good driver. And then invariably you make a mistake. And you're thinking that guy that I shouldn't have pulled in front of, I had enough time, but he's calling me what I would be calling him, So it goes both ways sometimes. I like to refer to these people that just seem to be in the oddest place, getting in your way. I call them the mofos, the one mofo rule. One of my most underrated videos here, the one mofo rule, or whatever I ended up changing the title to try to get people to watch it. Yeah, I agree with that. The H, his middle initial is not H. How to give on Cash App. Well, you first have to go to the Google Play Store and and load it. It'll be green with a dollar sign, and you have to put it into your apps. Then, when you open the app, it'll tell you what you need to do, which will include linking your checking account information so that if someone is sending you money via Cash App, it goes into that bank account. Or if you are sending somebody money, it comes out of that bank account. I've had it now for, I don't know, 8 years. Never had a problem. I pay a major bill that makes a dent in my income every month out of Cash App. And so that's what you do. You follow the rules and you come up with a handle. And mine is Media Guy 56, lowercase letters. And that's a good way to do it. I'm thankful to Google that they let me have the thanks button, and then they also let me have the Cash App. Two ways to do it. I don't have PayPal, and did once, and I don't know, some of the dealings with PayPal, I wasn't really happy. I've never had an issue with Cash App. So there it is right there. Okay. Elaine says, if I was able to link it, anyone can. Yeah. And of course, if you ever have a problem with your tech, just commandeer a 14-year-old and he'll take your phone and all right, all right. Okay, you're good. It'll take about a minute and a half. They're that tech savvy. They are, Tracy, by the cufflinks. Hello, Jack and everyone. Oh me, oh my, I've missed the live again. Not really. We got some time left. Um, we're less than an hour in. I fell asleep, and you feel you were asleep, waiting for the live to start. Just woke up. I fell asleep in the recliner. Don't feel bad. At about 2 minutes before Laura Ingram, and I woke up at 7:10. And boy, that 10 minutes of sleep. I always joke with Karen, who's sitting across from me on the computer. I always say, I almost fell asleep. And she says, yeah, you almost did. But that 10 minutes of sleep is just what I needed. Just what I needed. I use Cash App for a good while, totally legit. I even use a debit card they sent me that you can preload. It's it's a good security to use while instead of using your bank cards with the CC skimmers. CC skimmers. Is anything like CC Writer? Huh. So you can look at that. I know that they also, once you begin to have a relationship with them, they can become like your Cash App store, your paycheck store. You can borrow $100 or something like that. As long as you pay it back in a timely fashion, they'll take a fee for that, of course. They'll take a fee. That is to say, there is pretty massive problem out there with CC readers, skimmers out there like gas stations. I always worry about that. Some of the pumps will say if you don't want to use your PIN code If you want to bypass the code, just press enter or whatever they tell you to press. And then it it rejects the sale. I've had that happen many times to me. So I don't know. I've never had a problem, but there's always a first time. Elaine, stop drinking. You know you're supposed to be going to your AA meetings. Yeah, okay. And they just find that by looking through the options when they're loading Cash App for the first time, right? CC credit card, got it. It's a credit card and it's from Cash App. Is that one of those credit cards where you have to put $200 in the bank and leave it there? Especially if you have bad credit. The only way people can get any kind of a credit card, because some places want a credit card, like Villa Roma. We didn't go to Poker Weekend this year. It wasn't in the budget, and I made the right decision not to do it. But they want a credit card. They don't want a debit card. So I only have one credit card left, and that's my Prime card, my Amazon Prime. And that's it. That's it. Spencer for hire. Hi, Jack. Hi, TS. How's work? Are you working hard? Are your muscles bigger than ever? I have to catch up tomorrow on the replay. Well, I know you will. So, Tim, I don't know if you're working and on your break or what have you, but I know you work hard for the money. And I won't tell you where he works. It's just, I don't know. It's a big place, and it's very bright with fluorescent lights. It's like that. Correct, Jack. You can transfer back and forth from your own accounts. Works great. Yeah, there's functions on Cash App I have never used. I just use it to send money and receive money every year. Andy has to print out my tips that I get each month via Cash App, and I give all that to Anna, my tax lady, because they don't give you one form at the end of the year if you're looking for that. But you probably wouldn't be looking for that unless you're getting tips, And that's the story there. Carmen Sylvia from New Zealand. If you have a cowboy hat, Jack, you would look like JR from Dallas. I ain't that handsome, Carmen Sylvia. No way. Larry Hagman, especially when he was with the genie, he was handsome. Well, he was handsome as JR too. What was it? He was a major, right? He was a major in the Air Force. I think so. She still kind of has the look. Barbara Eden still kind of has the look, and they're in their 90s. They somehow pulled it off. Jacqueline Smith still has the look. Kate, not as much, but I think things will relax that she's had done with her. Cheryl Ladd, you can tell that she had extensive work done, and it's not quite right. But again, it'll relax. It relaxed for Kenny Rogers. I mean, he had one of the worst male facelifts I ever saw, right? That, as Donny Osmond would call it, that when he tried Botox, Donny said he had that surprise look all the time. That's how it was for Kenny Rogers. But over time, his face, I don't think he just had more surgery. I think it started to relax and he started to look more like his handsome self again. Sometimes you just don't want to mess with it. Other times, like Jacqueline Smith, you went to the right person, everything fell in line, and you're now well into your 70s and you look like $1 million. It just works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, I would say, don't go to a plastic surgeon that used to be a welder. That would be my advice. Goodbye, Helen McDonald. Where is she going? have to leave you all off to lunch with a friend. That's right. That's your time. Well, enjoy your lunch. Catch the rest of the replay. Bye, everyone. Bye, Helen. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah. Is there a situation, Todd, with the Cash App where they would say, well, since you have bad credit and wouldn't normally get any kind of a credit card, that you can have the kind of credit card where you put $200-300 in, which you're not going to be able to take out, and that then you have a $300 limit on your credit card. Does it work like that for people with poor credit? I'm not doubting that you're never going to go to a plastic surgeon, Elaine. I'm just wondering if we can get you to leave the house. Let's start with small beginnings. We have 48 watching right now. So, yeah, I was reading about Kate Jackson, who just did the Charlie's Angels reunion April 6th, I think it was. April 6th with Cheryl and with Jacqueline. And I was reading a little bit about her life, and there's just so much trauma. Maybe some of you remember her first husband. I forget what show he was on. Andrew Stevens, right? Andrew Stevens, a very good-looking young man with big wavy hair. She married him. She's been married 3 times. All 3 of the marriages lasted 2 years. 2 years. And this one, she had already done Charlie's Angels. She had done The Rookies, and she started off as Daphne Harridge. I don't think she ever was on stage. She just right away, you see this doll face. She walked into the Dark Shadows audition, and one of the other actors who was just sitting there watching the process go on, they weren't filming at the time. He turned to James Storm, who would become a lifetime friend, when he saw Kate Jackson, and said, they're going to pick that one. That's the one. No doubt about it. Guys know, we know as long as she can act, and she was fresh. She wasn't fresh out of acting school. She was still going to acting school. So, sure, they did pick her, and she was wonderful, but she couldn't speak for a while. She was just a ghost because the acting school said, oh, no, she's not supposed to have a speaking part until she's done with her classes. So he said, well, I won't let her speak then. She's going to be a ghost, so we'll wait till she's finished with her class. No, I don't think so. Okay, about the putting money in if you have really bad credit. Jack, it's all works in tandem with your existing checking account, so it's all prepaid and secure. You could even use the Cash App debit card for any donations you get instantly. I see. Yeah, I know people do somehow use Cash App directly, and I've never done that. Me, I if it's new, I get fearful. The Lord did not give me a spirit of fear, but like lust, I'm perfectly capable. The Lord doesn't need to lead me into temptation. I can find it on my own if he allows me the breath to do it. So when I get to that part of the Lord's Prayer, which I pray every night, lead me not into temptation, I always say, well, the Lord wouldn't lead you into temptation, and I don't need him to lead me into temptation. He made Kate Jackson. He made Victoria Winters, Alexandra Mocha. That is the personification of temptation. It's not the first look that gets you, it's the second one. You can load and unload the card, use it as a tool. Oh, see, you would get the full Monty out of that. You would use it in ways that I have never even thought of. Neo just wanders around with puppets. Major Anthony Nelson on the original show, right? Yeah. Oh, I loved watching that show. I did. Carmen Sylvia says, "My neighbor died in my arms." You made me think of that song. Isn't that terrible? You just died in my arms last night. Da 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 da. Died in my arms. My neighbor died in my arms, and I'm still struggling with the shock of it. I've been watching my I Dream of Jeannie to distract myself, but I'm having a hard time coping. So this is very, very recent stuff, right? How old was your neighbor? How old was this person? I hate when somebody doesn't get their fourth quarter. That always bothers me. And now we see, for some reason, an uptick on young people getting vicious cancers, vicious cancers. What does Dr. Reese say about that, Elaine? I know, I pretty much know, but I bet you do too. Best thing about it is they are tip top about catching fraud. Well, that's wonderful news. So think of it as kind of shielding your bank, etc. If you do it that way, I see. She was only 30. And was it something catastrophic like cancer or heart failure? Something like that. Oh, it's awful. I'm so sorry, Carmen. Yeah, you'll be a long time getting over that. I understand. I haven't experienced that though. You've experienced it, so you know that pain on a level I have not yet experienced. I'm fine with never experiencing it. I know you're bored, Elaine. I know you are. I know. You got to do new things. They say the more you stay home, the easier it gets to do it. You just you get to the point where you accept this new life of being basically running away from the things you used to love to do or the things you plan to do in your retirement. A lot of people do that. Well, I'll wait till I retire. And then got the people next door. Well, we used to do that. And so what do you do now? And then, of course, because of being sedentary, I'm talking about one of them, now they really can't do those things. So that's sad. You got the money, but you don't have the health to do it. Health is so important. Best thing about it is they are tip top. Oh, I said that already. Yeah. Rescue me. You got to find yourself a honey. You got to find yourself a honey with money. I never found a honey with money. I never had that blessing, but I'm thankful for what I have. Believe me, I am. More and more as I know it says I hit the big 7-0. It gave me more of a conscience. Gave me more of a conscience. I don't know how to explain that, except to say that when I would entertain something that I might have given into easily, now I'm more prone to say, no, that is just not the thing to do. That is just not the way to behave. Are you going to behave this way to your grave? No. So I'm just looking over the comments here. Oh, yeah, I wanted to look up I don't even know if I know how to spell it. So remember, tickets still available for Bob Joyce in Cabot, Arkansas. Those of you that are watching from far away and you come in maybe to Benton, you've been to the church. Well, here's the concert in Cabot, Arkansas. Tickets still available. Won't be forever. We're not saying it's going to go to May 22nd and not sell out before that. But because it's a very busy weekend in that area, it's a little tougher go than it normally would be. So you have an opportunity to see Pastor Bob in Cabot, Arkansas. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Okay, gerrymandering, because that is a hot topic, especially the Supreme Court ruling that a number of states could change the political landscape. Some people are saying it could, and they thought they were real cool with what they were doing in Virginia, but it's not going to matter. It's almost like God is making sure that we're not going to have the evilness of the average progressive uh, destroy America. Gerrymandering is the practice of redrawing electoral district boundaries to give one political party or group an unfair advantage, often resulting in strangely shaped districts. It enables politicians to choose their voters rather than voters choosing their politicians, skewing election outcomes and reducing. I think in that AI overview from Google, I think I see a little bit of liberal thought coming in there. Um, the purpose they say is to maximize seats for one party, but no, that's not actually accurate because there are states where it's way out of line, heavily populated Republican, yet more Democratic seats and what have you. So it's an unfair presentation of what the state is. You know, if it's Massachusetts, it's a Democratic state. Well, it's a blue state. But if it's Texas and you had the kind of representation that could get a Jasmine Crockett in, then you start to look at that, you know. She'll be gone January 20th. I hope the door does not swing back and, hit her as she's leaving the building in the back regions. Here we are. Carolyn is here. Carolyn Mullins. I am at the place you just described. I want to be home all the time. I have no desire to do anything or go anyplace. Well, you shared in a past show that you were dealing with some cognitive issues, and then you said the medication, and I do believe in medication, depends what it is and what the need is. Um, you said that it was having some success, but so there's an extra ingredient here that you know, you know what that feels like. And I don't know how you exactly are right now, so I can't really respond because I don't know enough. Yes, Elaine, he was such a wonderful, sweet man. Who was such a wonderful, sweet man? So now are we talking about the loss of a spouse? By the way, I was at the Dollar Tree the other day after I got my car inspected at Honda. It passed, thank God. They would have loved to have rung up my bill, but it passed. So they never have manly looking readers and the strength that I need. I wanted the 275s because I really want to be able to see the print on certain things. So I end up with these. I don't think they're really intended for a man. Who said you was one? Hmm. I don't know. I can see that so much clearer than I have with anything I have right now. And I don't even wear glasses for driving or anything. It's just for reading. So you're talking about a loss of a spouse. We loved each other dearly, says Carolyn Mullins. One day longer, and it would have been 60 years together for 60 years. I see. Hmm. Here's Rhonda Edwards. Rhonda Edwards. Hi, where are you watching from? Started following Pastor Bob Joyce 9 years ago, then went to Arkansas to his church in 2024. What a great church. And Pastor Bob is a beautiful soul. Amen, amen, amen. I love to watch his services every Sunday night on YouTube. That's when they load it. That's right. You love your Hallmark movies. Well, you come right over here and be with the guys next door. They start watching the Christmas movies as soon as they are loaded. They put up their Christmas stuff probably in October and they take it down probably in early March. Christmas over there is a big, big thing. And they love not only the Hallmark Christmas movies, but the regular Hallmark movies and the Golden Girls. I'm not saying there was no value to the Golden Girls, but enough is enough. There's other stuff, says the guy who is completing the fourth time watching Dark Shadows, the original series. I can't explain that. You have to watch it yourself and see what I mean, starting with episode 210. Don't watch the early episodes first because you may not get it. You want to start with the introduction of the vampire. All of these warm and cold fronts, Todd is telling Tracy. Yeah, right? Anything I experience that I know anytime I experience that, I know there's going to be bad weather somewhere, sometimes too close for comfort. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you live in Oklahoma, you're getting close calls all the time. Very studious and cosmopolitan, Jack. Well, I've never drank a cosmopolitan. I don't think I ever have. Carrie Bradshaw did, Apparently she, on Sex and the City, was the most beautiful creature that ever lived. The most hunky guys went after her, including the guy from Greek Fat Wedding, Aiden, on Sex and the City. I mean, I was no fan of Sex and the City, but Karen adored it. And the one who played Samantha was the prettiest. Excuse me. Better wet my whistle. So sorry. I'll be praying for you to find peace. I pray for you a lot, Carolyn, and I hope that I don't know what the update on your health is, but I hope it's at least the thing that these young cancer patients are trying to do is just sustain what they have, to prolong. I had my first lemon drop the other day. Really? Are you sure it was a lemon drop? Here's an interesting comment. Virgin River, did you say, Todd? Oh, the Virgin River, where you hardly ever find any swimmers these days. I get locked into Virgin River at the girlfriend's house. Oh, it's a show. I was really confounded. It's a well done show, I think. And where would I find Virgin River? I know where I'd find a virgin. I got to go to Utah, and that's a long long haul. Yes, but I'm scared to death of storms, not James Storm. You wouldn't be scared of him. This time of year, I panic. Well, I was going to ask you how old you are. A guy doesn't ask a woman how old he is. I know what I was really thinking about is as we get older, there are things that like that are we are more prone to. And it's so funny because the last job I did was, and this was after I cleaned Middletown Honda, it was only something I would do a period of days and not every month. Sometimes I would be busy with the 95-year-old gentleman who I had known prior, and I became his backup caretaker, 95 years old, and I was actually with him his last day in the house. Was with him for his last meal he'd ever eaten in his house, and he'd been in that house for decades and decades and decades. I don't know, 60 years in that house, whatever it was. Been there a long time, 70 years in that same house, and I was with him for the last meal. But I thought, wow, he is, even on a warm day, he's got a jacket on and what have you. It'd have to get really hot before he would wear shorts and maybe just a short sleeve shirt. And then I started realizing that I was kind of getting like that. I just love the heat and the warmth. But yet when I'm in a scalding hot temperature like 100 degrees, even though I don't want to complain because I complain about the cold, so I don't want to complain about the hot. I'm thinking, oh, it is hot. It's really hot. Yeah, too hot to walk today. I say. I used to take lemon drops and butterscotch. Oh, butterscotch! Haven't had one in years, Todd. To the retirement home. Oh dear. But what if they, choked? I would be bringing them Thin Mints myself. Here's a Thin Mint. Um, to the old folks' home, they love them. Feisty bunch of people there. That's good when you see that there's life. More fun than one would think. Like a sequel to Cocoon. I love that movie. I dare think. The weather is so ruthless these days. We just never know. It's a helpless feeling at times. So yeah, we do have to acknowledge that, right? It doesn't make us one of those Al Gore crazies if we notice that the weather is changing. It's just that it can be in the direction of cold, like the coming ice age. I told you about that book. I've never ordered it. That is called Not by Fire, but by Ice. That guy who wrote that was a regular guest on Coast to Coast AM when Art Bell, God rest his soul, was hosting. I loved Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM. I like George Norrie, but he's no Art Bell. He's more gullible, I think. I'm cold all the time. This is not looking good, Elaine. This is not looking good. You've got the way to. It's like exercising. It feels awful in the beginning, but after a while, you say, "Wow, I've been going up and down these stairs now, holding on so I don't fall." I'm going up and down these stairs a lot, making it a point, and then I'm going to go for a walk. And the more you do it, the more you say, "Oh, it's great to be out here doing this." And what used to be hard for me, what used to feel really bad, doesn't feel like that anymore. You guys might notice I don't have the lights on in the background. I don't know if any of you noticed that, but I don't. Um, I usually light up the background, but it's just the front lights tonight, bringing beautiful results, I think. Don't want to hide Karen. There she is. And today, what did we do today? We went for her to get her Botox injections with Dr. Faskowitz. Dr. Andrew Faskowitz has been her neurologist for the whole time we've been together, and it's going on 15 years. It is 15 years. It's going into the we're into the 16th year now. I was 54 years old when I came into this building, and it wasn't the first time I'd been in this building. I was in here in the 90s, not this side, but the other side, when Mike Candido, drummer for Gary Puckett in the Union Gap, and in the group The Fortunes, but not the Fortunes that are touring right now on the Happy Together tour, or will be touring. I don't know if they've done their first show yet because it's not summer, but they start in the late spring, I think. And so I knew the Candido family, and Frank Candido, his older brother. Frank and I came to visit Mike on the other side. That would have been when Karen was with her husband living by the college. And we came to visit Mike one time only, uh, in the uh, in the second part of this duplex. It's really the main part, I guess you could say. And I had, of course, no premonition that I would someday live in this house for years and years and years. Mike would go on to an exciting life in Las Vegas. That's where he lives. Well, no, he lives outside of Las Vegas. But yeah, he was always talented from the age of 15 up. I knew that, and so that was kind of cool, you know. When I used to stay up all night, I used to listen to Art Bell back in the day. Great memories, right? It got me through my peace officer job on the overnight shift. I would take a nap on my lunch break, but I would listen to Art Bell first. It was always interesting. Some of that stuff became true to this very day. Yeah, he tended to try to find stuff that was real. You know, Whitley Strieber, you know who that is, right? Claimed that he'd been abducted numerous times and what have you. Wrote a number of books. Would go to the few times that Coast to Coast had a live thing going on. He would be there, and was very believable. Very believable. You had Linda Moulton Howe. You remember these names, Todd? She would like when she came on. He would just throw it to her, like kind of like when Mark Levin goes on the Sean Hannity show. He just lets him go for like 10 minutes, 8 minutes, and just lets him have the podium. These weird glasses, $1.50, ladies and gentlemen, and I can see clearer with these than my prescriptions. So Linda Moulton Howe had some great conspiracies that she worked on and what have you, and she dealt with everything from aliens to snake people to nefarious actions of the government. She was big on that. I remember that. Rita says to Elaine, I started walking at a lake and it's been a week now. Very good. I started really charging up a little hill and now my knee is so sore. I'm going to have to take a few days off. I hate it. Well, if your knee continues to hurt, Elaine may not agree with this, but get yourself a couple of Sinbis injections. They help me so much. It feels like, they're just adding almost bone to your not bone on bone, but you know what I mean. It's like it gives you support. You take the injections, you rest for a day or two, and then you'll find that it is much easier to start walking. And the more you walk, often if you have pain and you keep pushing through it, the pain goes away. That's been my experience in terms of walking. Oh, thank you so much, every mother's son, every Wendy, every one Nas, something else, Wendy. It's not the catchiest handle I've ever came up with here. Like Carmen Silvio official's pretty good, and that's her site here at YouTube. You can see her do the She-Wolf, the Incredible Hulk, but female style, and hear all her songs as well. Oh, I'm sorry, Rita, about your knee. Yeah, but it's fixable. It's fixable. I'm pretty sure you're not going to have to go for the surgery. I don't think. All you'll have to do is get a little reinforcement there and keep, then go back to walking. I would love to do an ice cream made with Samoa cookies. This makes you uniquely you, Neil. It's the Gillian bar, right? Syndrome. Why? I'm gonna have to get a cough drop. Ricola! Ricola! Thank you, Tracy, for hitting the thanks button in beautiful turquoise for 4.99. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is an unexpected little end of the month blessing here to make it so that my number isn't terrible, because in terms of views, I knew this was going to happen because I said, I'm I'm just feeling in my heart and soul that I need to give Pastor Bob a rest. And the story is kind of like in a holding pattern, but some nice things are coming that you'll like very much. You'll like very much. And you want to make sure you get in on all the content, including the back behind the scenes exclusive content that he does at bobjoycemusic.com. bobjoycemusic.com. That's where you'll find his blog. That's where you'll find exclusive videos. That's where you'll find other things that they put in there and merch. Merch. Yeah, they got a merch store and everything. And it all goes to the church. So let's see, where am I? Yes, it's gotten that bad. I no longer know where I am. I could say there'll be a month not that far from now where I'll be won't be here. That's all I can say. So where am I? So I see Tammy with an I, $25 on the Cash App. I see Elaine Peterson, as always, every show. Thank you, Elaine Peterson from um, the wild state of Washington. I'm not surprised to hear, though, Elaine, that there's plenty of conservatives in Washington, in the state of Washington. So somehow they got to get a foothold because the governor and the mayor of your city are bat poop crazy. I see you now. Aren't you pretty? Aren't you pretty, every mother's son? um, see, Elaine won't let me see what she looks like. Look at that. My goodness. Appreciation. I like that for decent content. I'm usually better than this, but we're kind of, slow time. Watch me soar this summer. um, I'll try hard. I'll try hard for appreciation for decent content. $50 on the thanks button for I won't use your name that you don't use, but almost look like my second wife there. But I know she ain't giving me $50. Thank you so much. Wendy, when you gonna? Why can't I remember the lyrics to that song? Todd Bradshaw for kitty treats and such. He knows we love the kitties. I'm a little worried about Nicholas Blur. I haven't seen him. Been a blur. He's been a blur. But Karen told me his left eye, he might have gone tussling with somebody, and I sure hope it wasn't our cat that did this. I don't think that would happen, but maybe he was trying to kill a squirrel or something like that, I don't know. But might have a problem with his left eye. And the boys next door, if they, if they can, they should see it because they feed the cats every day, twice. They would take it to the vet. No, we don't have to do it. They would do it. They're rich. Anyway, Todd Bradshaw, $30 for kitty treats and such. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy, for $50. Thank you, Elaine Peterson, and thank you, Tammy Griffin. They give all the time, and it's just a blessing. I'm just a 70-year-old guy now. I can say that, right? I'm a 70-year-old guy just trying to make ends meet with a small retirement, Social Security and a pension that's not as big as I thought it was going to be because I never read the fine print. But the Lord is providing. The Lord is providing, and He uses His people to do it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Where am I? Who am I? Been asking myself that since Montreal, Canada. $4.99 from Tracy on the thanks button. And I had a wonderful orthopedic surgeon named Dr. Richard Williamson, the best. Yeah, you got to love your doctor. But then again, you know what they're doing. You know what Dr. Reese says. Did you see the latest one, Elaine, where he says, how many of you think I'm annoying? How many of you think I'm wise? How many of you are frightened by me? Things like that. He's cool. He's cool. With any speaker, including me, certainly you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. If you're vegan, I don't know what to tell you. I could be pretty much vegetarian, but I'm not cutting out the cheese on the pizza or putting something that probably tastes like what they use to spackle wallpaper, drywall, and call that cheese. I just can't do it. I'm not that creative, or I'm not that much of a liar. I don't know, however you want to put it. We all have lied. We all have sinned. We all fall short of the glory of God. By the way, guys, thank you for coming through tonight on the night when I really needed you to inspire and to kind of guide me along. Yeah, where's Homer? Vinny, good thing. I gotta find a past email where he gave me his cell. Write that down. I got a mind like a sieve. My pen is on the fritz. I didn't even know my pen was German. Okay. I'll try to get an update on Vinny from Las Vegas, Nevada, and also Arizona. Elaine. I can't even come to Washington to see you. I have to explain myself if I want to go to Dollar General. How could they ever think bad of me? Pourquoi, I say. Pourquoi, whatever that means. Hello, Jerry Bridges, but it's not really Jerry, is it? It's the name I've forgotten. Hey, Jack, you should make shirts with the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned on the side and Let's Talk Elvis on the other side. Well, I don't really talk Elvis that much. I talk Bob Joyce. You know what I mean? Or the cute bobblehead, I was going to say. Yeah, well, I'd have to know that a lot of people wanted me to make that and would purchase the merch, you know? I mean, other people make merch and it doesn't sell very well. That's my feeling, you know. Thank you. You're very welcome, Jack. We're glad you're there, especially Elaine Peterson. There you go. I love this family, says Elaine. Here's Jackie Organ talking. Oh, you can't talk to Helen because she went out to lunch with her friend. So she will watch the replay, she said. She was here, but she's now at lunch. And I don't think you guys live that close, right? So you can't just pop into the restaurant you think they may be at. What is that word that name you're saying? Myelin sheath. What is that? Jack, you wouldn't think I'm pretty. I'm just a girl next door. Guess what my type is? The girl next door. But you're with a red-haired beauty, you say. It just happened that way. Um, although I have to say my first wife was very pretty. My second wife was very pretty. She was definitely a girl next door type. Both of my ex-wives were the girl next door type. But I love the girl next door type. I mean, my first serious actress crush was Christy McNichol. It wasn't Christy Brinkley. You know what I'm saying? As beautiful as Christy Brinkley is and was, even with her new facelift, she looks pretty. But I always thought that, like Marlo Thomas, um, Barbara Hershey. I remember that back in the 70s. I would have went for Barbara Hershey over Raquel Welch. You know what I mean? Um, trying to think of a really good example. Hmm. The girl next door is just more interesting than the girls you used to see, the women you used to see in um, Playboy with what's that award show called that Ricky Gervais used to host? The Golden what? That doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything. I mean, it's like you want to take a pin and go pop, deflate, deflate. Nothing like the real thing, baby. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to improve on what God did. Now, if the barn needs a painting, paint the barn. That's what I think the preacher was C.M. Ward from TBN. Any old TBN people here? I know there have been in the past. C.M. Ward was a popular guest on the Praise the Lord program with Paul and Jan Crouch. And he would, address the thing for makeup. Well, Jan Crouch wore so much makeup and this big, fake, pinkish blonde wig. But he said, in general, if the barn needs painting, paint the barn. I need to paint the barn again, as a matter of fact. I've already purchased the ability. I've already purchased it. But yeah, I love the girl next door type. Always did. I could do without the steak, Neil, but I can't do without meatballs every once in a while, or maybe I get a little meatball slice on the pizza once in a while. Christy McNichol was cute back in the day. I agree. More than not, the girl next door look was always a winner in my book. Yeah. Yeah, there were other actresses, of course, Jodie Foster. I just love those gay women. They, all of them, Christy, Jodie, and any number of other actresses had many relationship with guys. Then one day they became a lesbian, but it doesn't work like that. It's called bisexuality. Um, Christy McNichol was with Scott Baio. She was with Leif Garrett. She had other boyfriends, so, but yeah, I fell in love with her the first time I saw her on Family. Remember that Family? Saw her on Family, and then you all know that in 1979, while living in Hollywood, California, working security and looking to do some extra work if I could squeeze it in, which was not easy because I'd have to take time off for my security job, and you can only do so much of that. But I got I saw we would get the Hollywood trade papers where I worked. It was a videotape post-production house back when they had to send individual tapes out to all the stations. It wasn't coming off a feed from one central location. They were mailing tapes to Akron, Ohio, to Cleveland, Ohio, and all those things. That's what they were doing. And so we get the trade papers, and they said that auditions are beginning for Blinded by the Lights, starring Christy and Jimmy McNichol. And it gave a little more information, a number to call and everything. And one of my fellow security guards, we dressed like Tony Randall at this gig. It was a plainclothes gig, badge on the belt. He told me he was an extra. He was doing some extra work. And he said, well, just call that number. They're going to ask you to send a picture. And I did. And that's what they told me to do. And then my phone rang at home. I, thank God, was home because I had no cell back in 1979, And they said, well, all right, we got your picture. Be at the Pasadena Hotel at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. Be at the Pasadena Hotel. Nothing was going to keep me from that, even the throat infection that I had at the time. I went and got some nice camera shots in that. And so, okay, don't see Christy at first for our first little go round. We're sitting in the big hall of the hotel, which is supposed to be cult headquarters for this movie. And they're doing some rehearsals and stuff like that. And then it's time to take a mid-morning break. And I'm walking down the hall to probably find the bathroom. And coming up with me with another girl, for the first time, I see Christy McNichol. And that was a big thing. And what brought me down to earth is that she was complaining to the other girl. Oh, they always call me before they're ready. They always call me too early. But later on, she was very nice, including to the extras. She came over and said hello. We ate in the same general area, ate the same food they did, and it was a really nice experience. And not too long, while I was still living out in Hollywood, I went to the Jimmy McNichol TV special, guest starring his sister, Christy McNichol, and others. There were no tickets available. They had given them all out at Disney World or something. But I found out when it was taping down on Sunset Boulevard, the TV station they were going to film it at, and the line had already formed as I came, and I said, are there any tickets available? And the person on the line said, oh, no, they gave these out weeks ago. You're not going to get a ticket. And I said, well, I'm usually pretty shy, but I'm going to do what I have to do. So I walked down the line and I just said, hello, how are you? Would you have an extra ticket? Would you have an extra ticket? I got to like 10 people in, and they handed me a ticket. And I got on that line and I got in. Oh, I wasn't gonna just stop that easy. What about Tatum O'Neal? Q. When I was a kid, people used to say I look like her. I think it's because I was a tomboy and she played a tomboy in Bad News Bears. Yeah, I remember her more from the Christy McNichol movie that she co-starred in, Little Darlings. That's the first time I ever saw Armanda Sunday, who lives in Campbell Hall, New York, which I could get to in about 20 minutes or less. I think he still has his home there. Um, so yeah, Tatum was very cute, but there was just something about Christy, and her acting was superb. And of course, she ended her career basically doing Empty Nest, and she is manic depressive. But the medications, especially like lithium, could have controlled that. I always thought she would go back to acting. Instead, she taught acting to young people and what have you. I don't think she's ever done anything else, and it was so sad to see her retire at such a very young age. Yes, she did date Michael Jackson. I remember that. The movie Michael is playing at the Paramount Theater right now. I thought it was already on Prime Video, though, isn't it? I don't know. Um, I don't have any desire to see it. You know, I enjoyed many Michael Jackson tunes and Jackson 5 songs, but I don't really want to see. And if it's not an accurate portrayal, you know, if it's, I think though, the guy that's playing Joe Jackson is the same guy that played him in the other Jackson thing, which was on either E or HBO. I can't remember. And I'm talking about Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, who was in Welcome Back, Kotter. I think it's him playing Joe Jackson again. Joe Jackson, if you're going to play him accurately, you're going to portray him as an awful, awful man. That's all I have to say about that. Are we talking about Maureen McCormick now? Oh, yes. Now, that would be probably an exception to my rule of the girl next door because she's kind of more than that. She is kind of stunning, isn't she? Maureen McCormick. That was like Ginger on Gilligan's Island. I like Marianne more. I like the girl next door. And then I found out that Tina Louise was, the complainer of Gilligan's Island, and she was never happy with this, and never wouldn't do any kind of reunion things that they would do and stuff like that. But she's very pretty, and she was good playing the kind of Hollywood bubblehead. She was playing an actress on the show, but I liked Marianne better, I would say. But yeah, Maureen McCormick, adore her. Yeah, I think I could find a few pictures of Maureen McCormick up there, including with the rest of the Brady Bunch. And she, in August, will be joining the club I joined in March. Maureen McCormick will be 70 years old. Wow. Wow. Things that make you go, wow. Jack, do you get on the TikTok? I kind of registered, but I haven't done it. So every once in a while I get notifications. I know that I should be trying to push content on on different sites, but I have not done that. YouTube has been very good to me. And I've told the story now, and it's all in Pastor Bob Joyce's corner, how he wants to end the story or not end the story, whatever. So if something in the chronological story comes out that is, unavoidable, I would do it, but I'm not looking to do gotcha videos on Pastor Bob. I suppose at one time it sounded like I was, but my heart was not gotcha. It was just trying to, present content that people would enjoy and try to beat somebody else to the punch. You beat me to the punch. Da-da. There's a lot of people that like Marsha. Yeah, she was the standout. And I just saw I didn't read the whole thing, but Eve Plum was saying, yeah, it did affect her. Not just as the on the show, Marsha was portrayed as the most beautiful, the most popular and everything. But in real life, it affected her, that she was the second. And then the older Susan Olsen got, and she's in her 60s now, of course, She got more beautiful with the long hair and what have you, and she, was very popular at the fan conventions too and what have you. So, it was just, it was just Marsha that just, it was Maureen that got the, uh the lion's share of, fan adoration, mostly male, but a good portion of female too. And, then, I read her biography. It's fascinating. Um, it seems all three female Brady siblings hooked up with their on-screen step brother or stepsister, and then Maureen got into drugs and became addicted. And I think her father threw her out of the house or what have you at some point. And so she started living very vicariously, going to parties at the Playboy Mansion. And by this time, she had a drug habit, but her bank account was going down, down, down. Because when you do that stuff, it is expensive. And so her banking account was going down. And since she was using, there wasn't much coming her way. She had a hard time for a good long time before the reunion movies started and things like that. And when she walked into the Playboy Mansion, it was like they wouldn't leave her alone. She had to find somebody that would be her protection for the night. She had to find somebody. I'm not saying that person was James Caan, but she had to find somebody that was going to be her protection so she could go to the buffet and so she could, watch them swim. I don't think she swam there, but, uh, Hef, of course, wanted to see her. He wanted to see her. And at some point, as she says in her book, she realized that the way to get money was to sell herself, to sell the one thing she had left, which was her body. So, oh, it's Michael's nephew? Really? I didn't know that. Jafar Jackson. His name may not be spelled right. Huh. I did not know that. I did not know that. He looks somewhat like him. Of course, Michael didn't look somewhat like himself in the later years. Look at that. Past 2 hours. Unbelievable. Todd's talking about hay fever. Jackie, doing fine and on both feet. Hope you're well today and life is treating you kind always. Amen. 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 I do want to thank those that hit the thanks button, including Tracy and Hockey 92.7 FM. I hope it lets me go all the way back here. I have trouble sometimes. It's going to stop at hockey, isn't it? Oh, yes, Miles and Judy Wright. Thank you so much, all of you, for hitting the thanks button. You can do that, too, if you're watching the replay. Just click on Ask. That'll lead to the thanks button. If for some reason it's not there on this video, go to another recent video, and you'll find it there. You'll find it there. It all goes into the same pot, so to speak. And we're winding down April. And it's because of the core people here that made it not a disastrous month via Cash App and the thanks button. Because in terms of views, it's been a disastrous month, and that's my fault. But I didn't want to force it. I just didn't want to force it. I put out a video that had nothing to do. Suddenly 70. Watch that video. The horror of being sure of nothing. Very proud of that video, but it's yet to click or to get 400 views. It's just from the heart talk, and it has nothing to do with Pastor Bob or Elvis Presley. So thanks again, Wendy, for hitting the Cash App. Very generous. Todd Bradshaw, same thing. And Elaine Peterson and Tammy Griffin, Tammy with an I, who's in Chicago. Thank you all so very much. Appreciate that. Back I go to the end here. We're missing a few people. Wonder what happened to Marty Greco. He never sent me his email. Just trying to get to the bottom of the list here. Thank you, Elaine Peterson. So, in my opinion, the most beautiful women, says Todd, back then were Linda Evans. Well, she those eyes, right? Whoa, from Dynasty. Likewise, her co-star was one of the most beautiful men. Can we say that? Are we confident enough in our sexuality? Do you remember him in To Rome with Love? Anybody remember that show? Linda Carter, Jane Seymour, and Cheryl Teague. So you did like some that weren't in the, I wouldn't call Cheryl Teague the girl next door type. Jane Seymour, we used to have the Hoboken Film Festival here at the Paramount Theater every year. And for a few years, we went. They don't have it anymore here. They moved it somewhere else. But there was a Jane Seymour film that was being shown, and she showed up, as many of the stars did from these various movies. She showed up. I can't remember with who. And so we got to meet her. And then when it came time to watch the movie, we all filed in, and we were like 2 rows behind Jane Seymour. And that was cool. That was a cool experience to be 2 rows behind Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Well, look at you, Patrick Wilburn. I think you were kind of last minute. Do you have a pass, or weren't you issued one? Nice to see you, Patrick. Hello, everyone. I apologize to everybody. Nothing to apologize for. It was just kind of a casual night. I came on in a terrible fright that, gee, I don't have much tonight. The stuff I might want to talk about is too heavy for a lighthearted topic unless other people seem into it. I don't want to force it. We talked a little Saturday night about the events. No, Sunday night. I'm sorry. We didn't do a show Saturday night because I realized the president was going to be at the dinner, and then all hell broke loose. And yeah, it shows you, they didn't check the people that were going to be in the hotel. Even the night before, this guy comes in carrying weapons, and there's nobody there to check him. So that was definitely, a mistake. And I forget who it was that was saying the new head of the Secret Service will definitely correct that problem. He'll correct that problem. So. Jesus speaking in the book of Luke, chapter 21, beginning with verse 8. Watch out that you are not deceived. For many will come in my name, claiming I am he, and the time is near. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and revolutions, do not be frightened. These things must happen first, but the end will not come right away. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilence in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. I'm waiting for the great signs from heaven. But before all this, they will lay hands on you and persecute you. They will deliver you to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors, and all on account of my name. This will result in you being witnesses to them. But make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourself. For I will give you words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict. You will be betrayed even by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. All men will hate you because of me, but not a hair on your head will perish. From the 21st chapter of the book of Luke, the words of Jesus Christ. Pray for Christari. She's, got major challenges. Pray for Elaine. I'm sorry. Yeah, pray for Elaine. Absolutely. Elaine's got fears and things like that, and she wants to get out of the house more, and she's got physical issues like we all do. And there's just so many. There's someone mentioned, I think it was maybe Neo, Vinny Maru in Las Vegas, serious illness. Going to try to check on him. And just post your need in the comment section of the replay if you have a prayer need, okay? And there are prayer warriors like Katina that will pray, and I will see it and pray as well. You can do better than me, though. The effective prayer of a righteous man will availeth much. So, hey, here's Pam Inslee. I didn't see you. Hello from Montana with a heart. Hi, Pam Inslee. What's going on? Most beautiful women. Well, I'm very influenced, Todd. I'm very influenced by Dark Shadows because it's been such a part of our life since the pandemic. So Alexandra Mocha during the Victoria Winters days. She's from Sweden. All Swedish women seem to be beautiful. She's a genuine countess. She's 77 years old now, 78 maybe by now, living with her son, I believe, and his family, her grandchildren. Also, Josette Dupre herself, Catherine Lee Scott, Maggie Evans, also another beauty, began her career as a Playboy bunny at the New Jersey Playboy Club. And Kitten herself, Nancy Barrett, who played Carolyn Stoddard, their beauty is just so fresh in my mind because they've been such a part of our lives. And Karen would say the same thing, as I don't think I finished the thought earlier. The reason I'm with Karen is that circumstances brought us together. She needed someone that was stable and reliable. Now, when I say stable and reliable, I mean low level financially. I don't mean any other way because, she quickly saw my flaws that the other ladies had seen too. So each year I try to get better and better and be the best I can be and say no to things that would destroy things, as Merle Osmond said, I think I said this on the last show, the show before, he looked into the camera and he said, guys, don't blow up your life. Don't blow up your life. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So, how are you, Patrick? What's going on with you? Do you have any updates? Have you been okay? How's your health and all that? You too, Jupiter's realm. What's going on with you? You have a broken wrist, not typing as well. Good to see you all. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jupiter's realm, for coming by. Hope you have a quick heal there. Just, nurse it a little bit. Keep it wrapped up for a while. Todd both Todd broke both his wrists at the same time when I was 20. I feel for you. Glad to see you and heal well. I see you're so fortunate when I hear what other people have been through. Not that I haven't had, some experiences. I have, but never been in a real car accident. Thank God. Praise God. My family, same thing. Having problems with my mother-in-law. She's not expecting to make it. Oh, I see. So this is not one of those situations. You have fond feelings for your mother-in-law. Good. She's not expecting to make it. Please pray for her. What's her first name? Put that on the prayer list. Yeah, Linda Evans would be a classic beauty show, I guess, with Shel Teague's. The most beautiful I ever thought Christy Brinkley was probably in the Vacation movie. I think that was it. Yeah. I might be forgetting something else, though. I'll say a prayer for your family. Okay. We haven't crashed in a long time. You know that? And we just crashed. We're wrapping it up and we just crashed. I'm glad I was able to get it back because it used to be much harder. YouTube made it a lot easier when you crash to get it back. I don't know how they did that. I'm technically impaired, So remember, Pastor Bob Joyce in concert in Cabot, Arkansas, May 22nd. Just go to bobjoyce.org, bobjoyce.org. The VIP tickets are sold out, but there's not a bad seat in the house, I don't think. It's a big church. Get yourself some tickets. If you want to come from far away, this is the time to do it, because there's a lot going on that weekend, so there's still some tickets available. And check it out and get a blessing. You'll remember it for the rest of your life. I'm pretty sure that's accurate from just the footage I saw in Alabama, Coleman, Alabama, I wish I was there. It was obviously a great show. Neo fell off the puppet stage. I thought that happened. I hope you're okay now, Neo. Phoebe Cates was a pretty one. Yes, she was. I know just the movie you're thinking about. She did her own kind of Blue Lagoon movie, didn't she? Yeah. She didn't stay in the forefront for too long. Few movies, and she was kind of, on the down side. But yeah, I liked her. I thought she was very, very cute. God knows what he's doing. I say, God, you do too good of a job sometimes, You do too good of a job. And yeah, Maureen McCormick would be in my top 10. She would be in my top 10. And I'm talking about famous people now. Christy would obviously be in there. And the Dark Shadows Beauties, including Kate Jackson, who came late in the show. Kate Jackson. So I never finished that thought. So let me just finish the thought and we'll be done for tonight. We'll pray for Patrick Wilburn's mother-in-law. Name is Reba. Reba, okay. Put Reba in your prayer list. She's not doing well. The mother-in-law of Patrick Wilburn. Kate Jackson's first husband was Andrew Stevens, an actor. And he had plans to do a lot with his career and would end up doing it. And I think she probably funded a good part of his startup costs, to say the least, because she said being married to him was like watching a Brinks truck back up to your bank account. So that was a contentious divorce. She tried to get some of her money back, but he took a lot. And then she had a financial advisor that gave her terrible advice. She ended up suing him and received some kind of settlement. But, she had a lot of financial problems. 2 more marriages, all lasting about 2 years, and then breast cancer, reoccurring breast cancer, because they didn't get it all the first time. She's really been through the mill, Kate Jackson. She's basically retired these days, and but will show up at the occasional event like she did with both Dark Shadows. Well, it was the fan convention in Parsippany, New Jersey. So thanks, everybody. We'll be back Saturday night, I believe, at 9 p.m. East Coast time for another edition of Worldwide Ramblings. Thank you for closing out this month better than I expected and sustaining me so we can go on here and not have to stock shelves at Walmart. I wouldn't be very good at it at this point, I can tell you that much. Till next time, I appreciate you so much. Remember those on the prayer list. A big God bless you. Bye-bye.